Previously on Walking Life Together.
It just becomes all the more important to ground yourself in the goodness and compassion of the Lord.
Can you share more about how God used the journey to reveal more about his character?
Rupert and I were talking about this. I mean, ever since, for 8 years now, just how that whole experience really just pointing to God's sovereignty. He's sovereign over all. He's sovereign over all. And I think that was one of his characters that was really just so obvious to us now. He's sovereign. He will accomplish his will, and his will is good for you. And more importantly, when he accomplishes his will, it's not just good for you, but it's for the praise of his glory. It's really for his glory. That's why he's doing all of this.
Mm-hmm.
And interestingly, even though our experiences were ups and downs, it never really changed his character. So that's also an eye-opening realization, is that whether we were, in grieving or despairing, moments of hopelessness maybe, it didn't really change his character. And there's a lot of reassurance in that he's constant, that we may be falling behind or being stagnant, but his character doesn't change.
Mm-hmm.
We also learned that throughout all of this, whether or not he decides to give us a child or not, that he is still generous no matter what. He's generous now. He was generous even before we decided to have kids.
Mm-hmm.
So even though we tend to think that he's withholding his blessing by not giving us children, or not opening our wombs to bear a child, it's so easy to think that he's selfish or he's stingy, but he's not. He's not. All his will for us is for our own flourishing, is for our own good. I don't know what will happen to us if God decided, no, we're not going to have a child, because we never really treaded that path. God wanted us to take this path to have children, but I'm sure that even if we didn't have kids, that we will still flourish in the other way. Maybe not the same way that that we're doing now, but he will be generous in that way. I think one of his main, characteristic as God is that he knows everything. He sees everything. He saw me and Rupert through just the difficulties of childbearing. He saw us through when he decided to give us our first child. He continues to see us through now. And that we should just trust that his timing is perfect. I don't know now. I mean, if we had a child during residency or soon after we got married, if we had a child, how things would have panned out. But his timing is perfect, and it's always perfect. Mm-hmm. I was reminded today, there was a verse that just kind of struck me, and it was in Psalm, and I just want to share it. It's Psalm 139, verse 16. It says here, "Your eyes saw my unformed substance. In your book were written, every one of them, the days that were formed for me, when as yet there was none of them." So even before we were all born, he already knew our path. I don't even know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't even know what's going to happen tonight. But the Lord already knows what's going to happen. And he knows when things are going to happen. Mm-hmm. And that his timing is always perfect. I could have had a child earlier, or maybe not at all, but it's really a testament of how all-knowing he is. I think that's it. Those are the things that I was blessed enough to kind of see his characters through all of this. Mm-hmm. And it's not just during that time. I mean, I think every now and then I would still get some inspiration from the Holy Spirit that, well, that's how God was still using that experience to reveal himself to me. Mm-hmm. Yeah.